asked Jeff to come in. He's our special guest today. It's kind of weird to say that because really he has been our friend and our colleague for so long.
Right.
But this is his last day at Local 12. He's retiring after more than 40 years in TV news. And we're really fortunate to have him come and talk about some of the stories and his feelings today. So,
well, thanks. Should I just?
Do you want to give us your thoughts, or just on your last day, or give it a little history about all this time in Cincinnati? You're not from here,
no,
but you feel like a native to me. You know so much about the city.
I grew up in New York, or suburban New York, and went to college in the Midwest, and then my first job was in Roanoke, Virginia, and that was culture shock, but it was a good station. and then I came here, and some people have heard me say this, but I'll say it again. So I came here, and I thought, I'm not going to be a lifer in Cincinnati, because I'm not from here. Mm-hmm. And I thought it would be, as I've said to some people, 2 to 5 years or first time on Broadway.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Yep.
But, you know, it turned out to be a great place to live. It is a great place to live, great place to work. It's been fun. It's been a really good run. And you know, some people know this, in May, when it comes around every year in May, we are 1 day apart, age-wise.
I am 1 day older than Jeff. and our lives are kind of synced up in a way in that I only worked at one other station before I came here. I never had intentions to stay here, but it's just, life happens, man.
Yeah, it does. And it's been great. It's been a great run. It's been a lot of fun, really interesting. And you know, I think it's tough in a sense to retire, but it would be tough no matter what. If I did it, you got a ways to go. You guys got a ways to go. You're a little closer than I am.
Thank you, Jeff.
Long ways. But it's,
we hope.
Yeah, I think so. But it's a mixed feelings. Obviously, I've got a life ahead of me, a lot of exciting things to do and fun. But
you're engaged to be married.
I am engaged to be married. That's
We're
right.
Excited about that.
That's cool. That's very exciting.
Congratulations.
Hi, Jennifer.
Yeah. Well, we pulled some video of some of your different stories, and I have not seen this first one. I don't remember it. They were asking me if I remembered your poem about the arrow in the UDF.
Yeah,
so we're going to play a little clip. Here you go.
All right.
I shot an arrow into the air. It came to earth, I know not where. That's the story. My name is Jeff. There's an arrow here at UDF. UDF, right over there. The one that faces Mount Lookout Square. Now pay attention. I've got the proof. There's the arrow near the roof. I don't know the shooter's ilk. Perhaps he wanted to buy some milk. Perhaps, and I'm telling you this Monday, he wanted to have an ice cream on Sunday. They don't know where the arrow was shot. All they know is what they've got. It's sticking out in beautiful weather. There's an arrow. It's got a feather. Actually, this isn't good because this urban Robin Hood could have hurt a passerby as the arrow fell from the sky. So if you know.
So now here's the thing about Jeff. He can take something that is so mundane and turn it into a beautiful piece of storytelling. How do you do that?
I guess it started back at home when I wrote my very, very first poem. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Have you always been a storyteller, or did it happen?
So. I think I was always the wise guy in class that's cracked jokes, and it hasn't changed in 50 years, 60 years.
What I love about you, though, is that you're able to do stuff like that and yet still, it's funny and compelling, but you're still telling an actual story.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And we know that you can be funny, but we know that what you say we can trust 100%.
No,
right?
That's not, I appreciate that. It's nice. This is, this is going to sound really, really weird, but yes, there's been a lot of very nice comments, and I really appreciate them all. And to everybody out there who's been nice enough to tweet or post things on Facebook. Thank you. I can't really get back to everybody. I'd like to, but maybe they'll take me out of the mix today. I can just sit there.
Part of Jeff's strength, though, is that he's versatile.
Right.
Not only was he funny, he's introspective too, and I think we see that with this little clip we're going to see here of a piano competition. One where you talked about a competition over at UC, and you really got into like the sense of who these young people are.
To be honest with you, because I don't know what happened to the audio track.
Yeah, I think the audio got edited out.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to the audio, so
Darn.
honestly, I don't really remember what I said in that story, but I like stories with, oh, I think I hear a voice.
People.
I believe those two young ladies were sisters.
Okay.
And so it was sort of, they literally played off against each other, their rivalry, what they enjoyed, what they didn't enjoy. And it was just, storytelling involves not just words. And natural sound, we call it, which is the piano, the fire truck, the knock on the door. Someone, a great photographer I work with, once upon a time, said that sound is like punctuation in a sentence.
Yes, absolutely.
Otherwise it's a run-on sentence. It goes on and on and on and on. We'll take a break and just put something in. Not every story. It doesn't work in every story, of course.
Right.
But it does help some stories.
But I mean, while you are wonderful at, I mean, I think Deb Dixon was quoted in an article online talking about how you can go through documents and forms and you can wade through government red tape and all this stuff. You're really smart with that. But it takes somebody special to and it takes television, I think, to really tell stories about people. Do you think that's something that'll ever go away? I mean, we talk about all the competition in television and where the industry's headed and stuff, but I think telling stories about people will always be something that viewers want to see, don't you think?
If it goes away, we go away.
Yeah.
Because that's numbers. I mean, I like number stories, but number stories are kind of tough on TV and kind of boring sometimes. So the idea is to weave people into it. This is Joe Blow, Jane Doe, and this is why this item in this budget affects him or her. Yeah. Rather than just, here's a bunch of numbers, thank you very much.
Right, because that's what matters to people.
Sure.
Other people, right?
Now, I don't know this next one that we have a clip from. Side by Side. It's a documentary.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Tell us about
Want
it.
to set it up or?
Well, it depends on.
It's just a video clip.
It's just a video of it.
Okay.
But
Well,
this was a really unusual story.
This is actually not from the documentary itself, but that's Herb Heilbrunn. And there's Herb on the left and John Lear on the right. And Herb and John attended North Avondale Elementary School. This is when they dedicated a bench for them at the school. They attended North Avondale Elementary School. They stood side by side in 3rd grade. And there was 40 kids in the grade, 2 African-American children. One was John and the other one was somewhere else in the other picture. They didn't really, I guess they kind of knew each other because they stood, but they weren't friends. They didn't hang out together. They lived in different parts of the community. They just stood next to each other in the picture. And this was, it was a highly segregated area and community.
But they went on to fight together.
But yeah, here's the interesting thing. So this is 1928, 3rd grade. They go their separate ways, separate schools next year, separate high schools. In World War II, Herb was a bomber pilot and John was a fighter pilot in the Tuskegee Airmen, the African-American pilot corps. It turned out that John flew escorts for Herb. And of course, they never knew it. There's more to it. They never knew each other. They never met each other. They hung out. The bases were segregated. They hung out separately. In 1997, I think it was, so almost 70 years after they were in this picture, Herb said, well, I knew there was a Tuskegee Airmen reunion in Cincinnati. And Herb knew that he had been escorted by Tuskegee Airmen. We had no idea who they were. So he went down. He said, maybe I'll meet one of these former pilots. And he somehow ended up talking to John, and they started, going back and forth as to, where are you from? Where'd you go to school? Were you in Miss Pitchell's class? And John goes, I was in Miss Pitchell's class. Herb goes, I was in Miss Pitchell's class. So Herb digs out the class picture he had saved for 70 years at the time. Sent it to John and said, if that's you standing next to me, this is unbelievable. It was the two of them.
Yeah, what are the odds?
And then they built this big friendship, and there was a book about them, and they would go to schools talking about, look, maybe once upon a time, a black young boy and a white young boy couldn't be friends for a variety of social reasons, but now, we can do this, and you can do it too.
Isn't that wonderful?
And John died a few years ago. Herb's still alive. He's 96, 97.
It was a powerful story.
It was.
I do remember that now. I didn't know the title of it. But
right.
I got to know, because we don't have a lot of time left.
Sure.
Election night. What are you going to do, man? How many elections have you covered?
Wow. My first election, if you count college, when I worked at the J School in the TV station at the University of Missouri, is 1976.
Wow.
So I covered the governor's election in Missouri in 1976. So, I mean, how many elections have there been since 1976?
Will you miss covering it?
Yes.
You will.
Yes. Election night, I've said this to myself. Election night is my favorite night of the year other than my birthday. But the older you get, the better election night looks. You know?
And there we see you during one of the election nights. Now,
Yeah.
maybe is there a chance like we could get you to come back for just
election night?
Maybe
Yeah.
free.
Sure, not
Yeah.
free.
Free.
Yeah.
No, I would love to do that, but you know.
No,
you never-
not for free. If you're
Yes.
free.
If you're free. If you're free.
If
yeah.
I would make a point to be
Yeah.
available if
okay.
the powers that be felt that this was something that was worthwhile.
'Cause you're so good at that.
It's
You're so
been
good.
a pleasure.
Thank
It's
you.
been a pleasure.
Thank
Just
you.
learning from
Thanks.
you and working from you,
Thank
Jeff.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And don't call me on my birthday telling me I'm one day older. Okay, don't do that.
This is the first time I'm actually blazing the trail for you because I've done something first.
Yeah,
Aw, that's
All
good.
right.
And yesterday, I know a lot of people were watching when we started to air this wonderful story. Later in our 9 o'clock hour, we are going to re-air Jeff Hirsch's final story here. It's a piece on a secret Cincinnati train station. It was cut off by CBS Special Report yesterday. We're airing it in the next half hour, so be sure you stick around for that. The whole thing will air today.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Take care.
everything,
Thank
Jeff.
you, guys.
Love you, buddy.
Thank you.